Oh, Bob Hassan and I are here. Me, Shawn Bowles, and me, Shawn Bowles. Isn't that nice? Eric, we have you on again. You were on one of our podcasts not too long ago. And I love that we have a marketplace discussion set apart with you because we get to talk to you about all these things that are blowing up in your life. And people get to ask you questions about their own businesses, their own entrepreneurship, things that they're going through. So if you have a question, make sure to even start now, especially if you know who Eric is. Otherwise, just keep it generally. We're talking about the marketplace. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about careers and how God's doing marketplace miracles or speaking or doing things. Feel free to ask a question now. But how are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Eric,
Bob,
so
how are you?
To have you on. I'm
glad I didn't mess up the first time where you guys brought me back. This is really nice. So I'll try to behave this time too.
Exactly.
Well, I was just going to tell all our listeners, Eric's a co-founder of WebConnex. It's a powerful software company, and he told us some stories on our Exploring the Marketplace.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
So go back and listen to it if you haven't heard Eric. And he just inspired us. And I guess a lot of people have contacted you somehow personally anyways through the podcast.
Yeah.
And there's even some cool collaborations happening, which is really wild.
It's awesome. Yeah. You've got a great fan base and listener base. And so, yeah, had some really neat people reach out, and I think we're going to do some fun things together. So it's fun to find other people that are aligned with you in kingdom and business. And so a very small, intersection that just makes me super excited.
And Bob's going to try and get a back end, I'm sure, of everything that happened.
No. Bob is slowly becoming my agent, which is great because I need one, I think. No,
Bob, you would be a good agent. I mean, you're Jewish. You're, good at entertainment stuff, behind the scenes business contracts. This is good.
Well, I just love my friends. And so it's so cool to put friends together and then see things happen. And Eric, I'm so proud of what you've done and how you pivoted in the COVID age. Yeah. You made this giant pivot, and just briefly tell our listeners kind of what happened in 2020.
Yeah. So the very short version, if I can make it short, is we've got a software company that makes about 80% of our revenue from events. And we've really gone deep into our investment of culture and really recruiting just the best human beings on earth. We've got 45 employees, but we call them 10Xers because I think we can compete with any billion-dollar company out there. Wow. And so we've been doing some great things with company trips and some just incredible investments in our team. And so we are set for a record 2020 year, and just our growth was just off the charts. And so we're having the time of our lives, building the best products of our lives with the best people of our lives, and getting all sorts of invites to go speak about company culture and great things. And then, it's exactly a year ago, where the pandemic hit and all public gatherings are canceled. And so, a couple of things happened. One is revenue literally went to zero. And the other thing is our credit card processing partners who capture our fees for us, they came and clawed back several months of revenue. And so with 45 employees, you've got a lot of payroll. And so we found ourselves suddenly within 7 days fighting for our lives. And so all the counsel and the advice from well-meaning, wonderful people just said, everyone's laying all their employees off, and you should do the same. And just pushing against that, we just felt like, what would God want to do in these times? And so, we had a lot of prophetic words. You can go back and listen to the podcast for the deeper story, but just wisdom and revelation. We need those two things. Wisdom, because there's no good decisions. We need to make great decisions, and revelation we need to see things that nobody else has seen. And we just pressed in, God, show us something that nobody else has seen. Our sales guys started fasting and praying. Me and our senior team, John, Nathaniel, Ashley, every day we're just praying, just pleading God, and so the short of the story is we found this incredible turnaround. We kept every single member of our team, and we ended the year actually up 10% over the prior year. And God just revealed some incredible opportunities and marketplaces for us to explore our software. And so anyways, it is so surreal to be living this testament, because it's always the other people, right? You're just like, that never happens to me. And so it's very surreal. So we're just praising God and have the opportunity to share the story is just wild. So we are so thankful, and we got challenges ahead, hopefully, we're going to continue to thrive, and we are, but we're just so excited that God just came through both on wisdom and revelation for us to have a record year.
No, thank you for sharing it. And I know some of you who are watching, you have questions because maybe you're a business owner, entrepreneuring, or maybe you're in a career and you haven't had that turnaround yet, or you haven't had wisdom and strategy. I love that most pastors can't get their senior team to fast and pray for the mandate of God in the church. And you had in your business, like in your tech business, you have your sales guys fasting and praying, which is so cool. But if you have questions, feel free to ask them right now in the comments. And we're going to be asking Eric some of your questions and moderating those. Also, I just want to say hi to people from all over the place. There's people from all over the world tuning in right now. So we just want to welcome you from New York to Jamaica, which is so good. Georgia, all over the place, from Hyderabad, India. We bless you, Hyderabad.
Wow.
Hyderabad. I can't say it all of a sudden. I've been there years ago. I had an incredible time there. So we have people from all over the world who are just kind of tuning in right now. We have about 10 minutes left with Eric. And so, Bob, what's the first question you want to ask Eric? And then we're going to go to our comments.
Eric, what struck me so much about the story is the pivot that you made. You were in one line of business, it dried up, and then God opened doors in another line. So tell our listeners about, like, in your mindset, how did you unwrap what you were doing to make this pivot? How did you hear God for that?
Well, we made lots of pivots. We plant the seed and God causes it to grow. And so we stepped into this facing an incredible challenge, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Like we trust God, but even if he doesn't, it doesn't change who he is. So I think the first thing for us is like, we're going to go and fight as hard as we can. We don't know how the outcome is, but it doesn't change who God is. And so one of the first things is like, we're going to try our best, but if it doesn't work out, that doesn't change him. That doesn't change us. And we're going to fight like mad. The other thing was just like, when David stepped on the field against Goliath, he brought 5 smooth stones. And one of the key things is like, I'm going to bring as many stones as I can take with me on this battlefield. Awesome. So, it looks like one, maybe a couple good moves, but, we got into virtual events. We also help small businesses, our own customers, apply for the PPP loan. We made a lot of different moves. And so we just kept on changing, iterating. And so we cast a lot of seed because we want to give God every opportunity to multiply something. And so, that was kind of our approach. And then we found a couple of things that really took off. And so just really finding, God, where's the opportunity? Where's the movement? And even several months into it of just, okay, we're surviving. We just kept pressing in and where else can we invest and go into it? So we asked the question, how do we help our other customers survive? Instead of selling features, it's like, we need to be in the business of helping all of our event creators, all of our event organizers. How do they resume their event and how do they survive? And our focus kept on being with them and just being open and honest with them. And our customers were so blown away that our approach was that just to love them and just, we're going to make our software affordable for them and help them. So that's how we approached it.
Like so the Father's heart though. Like you guys literally, I don't know anybody who does that. Like you don't find merchants who do transactions or whatever, any of these things that would say, we want to help you. That's amazing. Well, we have some good questions, Bob. One of them is from, where is it? It's from Bill Smith on Facebook, because we're on Facebook, YouTube. I think we're on Twitter as well. And then we're on our own platform on bullsministries.com. Feel free to join our platform. But this is from Bill Smith, and he's from Canada. He's saying we have people from all over the world right now. Now we have South Africa, Norway, California. We don't know where that's at.
Where's that?
I know, where's that? He was asking, is it difficult to be a Christian in the Silicon Valley tech industry startup kind of world?
It totally is. But we didn't take the typical Silicon Valley growth. So me and my co-founder, John, we're the only 2 founders. And he and I have a passionate, vibrant relationship with the Lord. And we didn't take on external venture funding, and we didn't go the typical Silicon Valley route, largely because we wanted to do business the way we wanted to do it. And so it's hard when every other big company is being written up in all the newspapers and they just got some $5 gazillion Series Z, and you feel like, are you the dumb one? But we really viewed our business as an opportunity to bless people with the kingdom, that there's an intersection with business and kingdom that very few people explore. And how can the business vehicle become this incredible way to bless people and families? And we certainly we don't require people to be believers on our team. We seem to attract them. but we really viewed as our business is this incredible vehicle to bless people. And so on one hand, without taking investor capital, without being a Silicon Valley, copycat, we were able to be free and express ourselves. And so the hardest part is looking at other people and thinking, is that the formula for success? And just choosing deliberately not to conform to that pattern.
I think, in follow up to that, like Shawn said, that's the Father's heart. And so I'm assuming, like I'm picturing that in the midst of all this, you're calling your clients or you're calling your customers saying, hey, how are you doing? How can we help? How can we that these are the kind of humble conversations that you were having.
Wow.
Totally. And we were honest with them about the crisis that we're in. I mean, there was a period of time there where, laying people off that's always the easy solution. And we actually thought of like, how do we transition our people off if we have to go that route? And that's, I think, one of the challenging parts with faith is that you think that coming up with these different scenarios is a lack of faith. Right. And it's like, it wasn't lack of faith to be strategic. And like, how do we plan for our people and how do we plan for our team, even on these like other ideas, or even just trying to think of how do we transition our team well. And so we had really hard conversations with our team of saying, hey, we can help you transition to another company if we need, and we are willing to do that. And we put a lot of effort trying to have that as be an option if we needed to exercise it versus just, hey, thanks for joining us. So that took a lot of faith to not look at those as lack of faith. But we just kept on saying, this is a long, hard road, and we're going to give God every opportunity to turn around at even the last minute.
The thing that's most impressive about this to me is if everybody remembers, as COVID came out and the government tried to get involved, they were paying higher unemployment, sometimes higher than people were making at their jobs. And the fact that you retained everyone because of your culture, is a testament to what you're doing. And how would you talk to other businesses out there right now or entrepreneurs who are struggling to, make ends meet, and they're trying to get PPP money, or maybe they have or haven't? How would you encourage?
Or they're in another nation and they're just trying to figure out how to stay employed, or they're owners of businesses. Like, just that question can be even broader. And I love that, because we have people literally from so many nations right now. Someone just said, I need a job in Jesus' name. So we have unemployment is an all-time high in the nations, although America's turning around. So how do we have faith right now, Eric?
Yeah, there's a lot of directions with that question. I'll give you probably the one that's coming to me immediately is John, Ashley, Nathaniel, and I. We were into culture before culture was a thing. And the best way to describe it is like every person has this relational bank account, every team member, and just investing into them. And whether it was a surprise gift or a company trip or a perk or a surprise bonus, we really, in all of our great years, just like continue to build that relational bank account.
Wow.
And you invest on it into not knowing when the payoff is, until there's a day it's like, guys, we're on a sinking ship.
Wow.
And you had to like lean on that relational bank account to say, trust us. And Alex, one of our team members, he said it best. He's like, we didn't know how it was going to go. He's like, there's no sinking ship I'd rather be on, And so to have the team respond in such a way that we invested in them, and then they returned it when we really needed it, because every tech employee that we have, they could have easily, one email, they could have worked at Google, Facebook, any company. And so for what we had invested into them in all the good times, when a bad time came, they trusted us. And that's where all of that investment suddenly, in a span of a week, a month, a couple months, paid off instantly. So for business owners, I think your people are your single greatest asset, and to be relentless on pouring into them. And you got to invest into them like it's the hottest stock that you never know when you're going to cash out. But there's going to be a day when there's going to be a real showing of like, you need that relational capital for them to do great things.
So beautiful. Well, we have a few questions. I know we're at the end of our time, so we'll just take one of them, which is Frank Sanders asked, and this is on Facebook, in regards to marketing strategies, what did you focus on? Did you attempt to expand your focus outside your original strategies? And this is interesting because your story, you actually changed kind of markets that you were in. So you definitely did, but go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, everyone asks the wrong question. They ask, what can I sell people? And so all of our competitors started selling features, and they started thinking about what they could build in terms of what we could sell. And trust me, I was ready to build anything you are going to buy at that time. So there's a part of that that's you have to be strategic about what does the market want. But we looked at our product offering and we had to ask our questions, what helps people survive? Because people aren't going to tell us what they need. We actually have to look at their life and their circumstances and ask, how do we help them get past it? And so when we asked that question, we knew exactly what to build. We knew that if you're going to sell a ticket to an event, we knew that you were concerned about COVID liability. So we literally rebuilt DocuSign ourselves into the ticketing experience because we know that if you sell a ticket, you have to have a waiver. And so instead of them going to different services to use waivers, we knew that if we built that in there, that helps them have any capacity. I mean, so we literally built DocuSign in like 2 weeks. Nothing against them, but that's an example. Another one is mass refunds. Everyone is like all these scars on their back from mass refunds. You take someone's money and then you want to promote your event. You guys know this 4 or 5 months out, you don't know what the world is going to be like in those times.
Especially
so one of the things is we said, and if you're an attendee, you don't want to put your money at risk and hope that you get your money back. So we're the only ones in our entire category who said, we'll allow you to convert your ticketing page into a kind of pre-reservation system where you don't pay up front, but the attendee puts their card on file and gets a temporary ticket. And then if you're in California, you don't know what's going to go on. You maybe 30 days out from your event, you can mass charge all of the cards on file. And so it unlocked for people to say, we don't know what can happen, but here's a risk-free way to begin to resume our event. And so these are just 2 examples of things that nobody else in our category did, all because we asked what helps them resume no matter what it is, what helps them get back to hosting their event. And so we got 5 or 6 other features that we did that exact same thing that nobody else did.
So awesome, Eric.
Just because we asked that question.
So
our minds are getting bigger.
Do we have time for one more question, Shawn?
It's up to Eric. Do we have time for one more question?
My time's yours. Let's go.
Okay, we'll do one more question. Then
Robert Walker asks, do you typically know in your soul that a business idea is the right one to pursue? Or do you more often have to take it to prayer for a time?
This
How
is from
do you
YouTube.
make decisions?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty loose view of my ventures with my identity, my relationship with God. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do all the glory of God. Whatever you do. And Ecclesiastes 11:6 says, in the morning, sow your seed, but in the evening, don't let your hands be idle because you don't know what will be successful, this or that. And there's a lot of things to our success that we don't know. And so I try to not look at God as this kind of lottery ticket, what is the divine path? And I look at it as more as a collaboration process with God that if I want to create widgets, like he's going to give me the mind of Christ to help me make a good widget. But let's say if I, felt really like the yellow pages needs to come back and the yellow pages is in the category or buggy whips, the market's just going to like have its way and just tell you that it's successful or not. So I look at it as this collaboration, but also the most important thing is to not let my identity become my thing, because if my thing fails, then my identity fails. Yeah. And so it's really about how you look at God's role in your success. Is he helping you, or is he kind of giving you these divine pictures? And for me, it's not that way. To me, I feel like he gives me a creative spirit to look at something and to find the opportunity in it. And for a season it works, and then for another season it doesn't work. And that's not to any fault of God. That's just the market. That's the conditions. That's my own decisions. And so I like to give God lots of opportunities to bless me through a lot of partnership with him. I'm going to work my tail off, and some things work and some things don't work. But if it doesn't work, I'm going to try it again.
This is so good. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today. And for all of you who are joining on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or our platform, thanks for joining us. Thanks for those questions, those of you who were able to ask them. If you have more questions for Bob and I or any of our guests, please go to bowlesministries.com. You can email us there. You can also ask a question which may appear on our actual show, which is our Exploring the Industry. What am I doing, Bob? Exploring the Marketplace. It's the Exploring series, and Bob hosts Exploring the Marketplace with me on Fridays. We also have a video version coming out each week on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe and hit notifications. Again, Eric, that was brilliant. Thank you for sharing your heart.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so great to be with you guys. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.